Hello guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. So something pretty cool happened today. I saw a couple of stories and news articles, one from Nintendo Enthusiast, which I'm going to link below for you guys, that discussed the fact that someone from Nintendo and Capcom apparently had a meeting recently, and through that there were a lot of very interesting conversations about the relationship between Nintendo and Capcom, and potentially some of what Capcom might be doing with the Nintendo Switch. So I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this gets me really excited for many reasons. I'm not afraid to admit to you guys that I really do ultimately have a huge love and appreciation for Capcom, which I know is kind of a weird and shaky thing to say because Capcom has really sort of fallen from grace over the last probably 5 to 10 years or so throughout a lot of what they did throughout the 7th generation and some of their business practices, and even leading into some more recent years. But something that I've said and felt for a while is that when Capcom is really on their A game, and they really seem like they care about the product they're making, and when you combine that with the fact that they own some of the absolute best and most memorable and most fantastic and important franchises in gaming, it's something that I really feel always has the potential to be really spectacular, and a lot of times it is. Obviously, like I was alluding to a minute ago, a lot of times it's not, and they've done some really stupid crap, and even a couple of years ago they were like, yeah, we're not worried about making new games, we're comfortable just doing remasters and redos of old stuff for a while. And it was like, why would you ever do that? And even worse, why would you say that in a public statement that almost made it sound like you were proud of that? It was such a weird thing, and it was very disappointing at the time to think about. But make no mistake, I really do believe in the power of Capcom, like I said, when they're doing things right. Most recently, they've done something so spectacularly right, I just am beside myself with joy over how well it went. I'm going to get to that in a minute because it's basically the main part of the story. The long and the short of it is that through this meeting, like I said, there were some discussions about what Capcom might be willing to do with Nintendo, with the Nintendo Switch, the fact that they're really enjoying working on the console, they're really excited about Ultra Street Fighter 2, which, oh my freaking god, I cannot wait for. Even if that first-person Hadouken mode or whatever is kind of dumb, I love the fact that they created something unique and special for the Switch, and for the Joy-Cons and that technology, and just the fact that it's this new HD Street Fighter game using that old-school graphic style. Oh my god, I cannot wait. But we really haven't had anything else officially announced from Capcom besides that game. But of course, there's a lot of good stuff in the vaults at Capcom that a lot of us would like to see, not only just period released in gaming and released on any platform, at least for me personally, but obviously to see come to the Nintendo Switch. So, what was happening during this conversation, the real meat of what I wanted to discuss, is they mentioned the possibility and the desire to actually make Resident Evil 7 on the Nintendo Switch. So obviously that was the game that I was gushing about a couple of seconds ago, because I literally just finished Resident Evil. My girlfriend and I played through it for a couple of weeks. We just finished it, I think, 2 nights ago, and oh my god, so incredibly happy and satisfied with that game. I have a lot to talk about, and I will actually be making a video pretty soon discussing my thoughts. It's going to be several weeks late, and it's not going to be anything that a lot of people watch. It gets a bunch of views and clicks, but I just kind of don't care because I just really want to talk about a game that I love. But beyond that, it's a great game. It's been very successful. Yes, there's conversations about, oh, Resident Evil 5 and 6 like shipped more and sold a little bit better in the first couple of weeks of Resident Evil 7. And while that is a shame, I also don't think it's terrible news because, hey, those games helped keep the series alive, and Resident Evil 7 has still done pretty darn well for itself. And it's reviewing so well. Everyone recognizes and acknowledges, hey, this is a great way to take what is Resident Evil, the core and the soul of that series and that franchise, and bring it into the modern day and make it work both in a modern sort of setting and a nostalgic setting, playing on a lot of the tropes and the characteristics and kind of the DNA of what made that series and those games so great back in the 90s when I grew up playing and loving them. So before the game released a couple of weeks ago, a lot of us were starting to wonder, even dating back to before Nintendo's Tokyo event, will Resident Evil 7 be announced sometime soon at the Tokyo event, at a Nintendo Direct or whatever, as a Nintendo Switch title, as a Nintendo Switch port? It was one of the games that a lot of people talked about. I really wanted to have it happen and confirmed before the game released for the other consoles, because I would have, as much as it would have hurt me to do so, I would have actually waited to pick up, instead of the PS4 copy, I would have waited and gotten a Switch copy for sure. But we haven't heard anything about it yet. Resident Evil 7 came out. I played and beat it on the PS4. Love it to death. And now, all of a sudden, this conversation about Capcom really desires to bring the game and other games to the Switch, and that's really the other really cool element to this. So it's interesting that they want to bring Resident Evil 7 because it's a game that, on some of the naysayers might say, oh, they would never bring that game, it's too mature, it's too scary, maybe it looks too good, I just wouldn't believe the Switch could run that game, kind of BS and malarkey like that. And I don't believe either of those things. Resident Evil actually does have a very strong and successful storied history on Nintendo consoles, obviously. And I think that anyone with half a brain could tell that, honestly, the Switch could make it happen and could run that game absolutely. And yes, it really is that beautiful and impressive looking for sure, but I'm pretty sure that the Switch could run it. I mean, I'm no technical wizard, you guys know that. I can't break down specs and innards to save my life, but when you just look at the output of the games that we're seeing on the Switch compared to what we've seen on the other consoles, like, I'm pretty sure that that game could run. So already, it's really incredible and exciting to hear that they might bring Resident Evil over to the Switch. I think it's going to be too little too late, so I hope they don't gauge sales too much on that, but it is a really exciting prospect, and I'm probably going to purchase it just to support it. Really, I just want to support the marriage of companies and games and systems there. But what about the other stuff? Just the simple fact that they say, you know, we want to bring a game like Resident Evil 7, and we want to bring a lot of other games to the Switch. We're liking what we're seeing. We're liking what Nintendo's doing. The Switch is an impressive, cool little unit. I think it's really neat. Another very cool quote that you can also read in the article I'm going to link down below as well, that they said was very exciting. Very, very quick thing, again, referenced in the article, but they basically say that the Nintendo Switch focuses on, quote, high performance and low battery consumption. And then they go on to mention something about how it's the NVIDIA GeForce, I think, is like the graphics chip or whatever. Again, I don't know these things. I think that's what it is. And it has the ability to really run in its best way, in its best performance setting, while in TV mode in the dock. So what does this all mean? Honestly, I think it means that Capcom really is getting ready to unload a couple of surprises on us soon. I mean, the relationship between Capcom and Nintendo has been growing and growing and building over the last several years, and it feels like with a brand new Nintendo console on the horizon and all of the positive buzz for the Switch and the fact that Street Fighter's happening, Resident Evil 7's doing so well, the Monster Hunter thing, the Monster Hunter series, and the 3DS have been such a wonderful marriage, and everyone loves that stuff, and the Switch is basically like it is exactly like a console and a handheld, so it makes so much sense for something like that to happen. I just see some really good stuff coming out of this, and it's exciting to hear a developer as big, as important, and mostly successful as Capcom finally coming out to say, yeah, we like what's going on, we like the Switch, we want to bring our newest, hottest, most awesome, and very beloved game, Resident Evil 7, to the Switch. They haven't said that they're going to do it. Apparently, you know, the talk right now, currently at least publicly, is that they're looking into it, they're finding what they would need to do to make it work, is it a smart business decision and all these things. So it's not like it's confirmed. It seems like there's just a couple of business factors potentially that's actually holding them up from making it, you know, actually happen. And if it didn't happen, I would have to think it has nothing more to do with it other than the fact that it's like too little too late. Like I said, the Switch is coming out, you know, a couple of months after Resident Evil 7 already did. I would think most people, even someone who's going to pick up the Switch, if they wanted to play Resident Evil 7, they probably would have played it on their PC, PS4, Xbox One. So I don't know that I even necessarily see it happening. I sure hope it does. But are we going to get the Monster Hunter Switch game that a lot of us have been talking about? I think absolutely. Are we going to get other games from Capcom coming? I mean, if Street Fighter 6 happens, for example, is that going to become a multi-platform and release also on the Switch? I would absolutely bet my bottom dollar if Street Fighter 6 is not a platform or PC exclusive and it's just a straight-up multi-plat, that shit's coming to the Switch. I believe that very strongly. So that's really it, guys. I was just really excited to be able to talk about Resident Evil 7 in the context of the Nintendo Switch. And the fact that this happened just a couple of days after completing the game and how, like, enamored I am with that game specifically, and it just feels so good to have Resident Evil 7, or Resident Evil, back in a way that feels excellent and successful and just true to the series and the roots of that franchise. And it's like, hey, Capcom, a developer who, like I said, I do like when they do the right things, which they have been doing more and more of lately, they're potentially excited about the Switch. They want to bring Resident Evil 7 and other games, hopefully other franchises that they make to the Switch. You know, maybe like they make another Dead Rising in a couple of years that's not Xbox exclusive, and then that comes to the Switch. If, heaven forbid, they make a Mega Man. I mean, there's so many things. We could talk about Capcom franchises forever. I've been wanting Ghouls and Ghosts, or I should say really Ghosts and Goblins. That's the original title for that franchise. I've been wanting that to come back for a long time. I discussed that on a video a couple of months ago, so who knows, man? It's really exciting. Resident Evil 7 is so good. I am going to make a video very soon about it. I really want to discuss it, even if no one's going to watch it, because I don't think anyone really tunes into Rule of 2 Review to hear about stuff like what Resident Evil 7 is. But man, I can't wait to talk about it. I really hope that this is a positive sign for Capcom and a positive sign for Nintendo and the Switch moving forward, that we can get a good relationship and some incredible third-party content coming to the Nintendo Switch. And hey, what if it even becomes like a third-party exclusive? We've seen Nintendo be so successful with that, even throughout the unfortunate disaster that was the Wii U's third-party library. They managed to get some excellent third-party support in mostly exclusive form. And if Capcom was going to do something brand new, like a new IP, and make that exclusive to Nintendo's new console, holy shit, that would be incredible. We can all dream, I can dream, but for now, we're just going to have to wait and see. I sure hope Resident Evil's coming. What do you guys think? Do you like the idea of Resident Evil 7 or other Capcom games coming to the Switch? Does this excite you? Are you an anti-Capcom person and not really into the fact that a company with business morals that maybe you don't like would work on the Nintendo Switch? Blah, 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 blah. All that fun stuff. I do want to hear what you have to say about this whole stuff below. So that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, this is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I will catch you all next time on another video.